to Iceland. You can see where the land is popping up out of the ocean here because the largest mountain range in the world, the Mid-Oceanic Rift, surfaces here because of the fortuitous nature of having the rift be right on top of a hotspot. The hotspot is lifting the rift up so we can actually see it. And you can see the land starting to come up out of the sea right here, these little islands poking up. And we're standing right on the rift here. In fact, right over here in these mountains, come over here, you can see that there's a pyramid-shaped peak in the distance. Not far from that, there's an active volcano spewing right now. If there weren't so many clouds, we could actually see the fire coming up out of the rift zone there. That's been erupting for several months, but it started in a place where there was no volcano before. That's how all of this was formed. It was from rifts opening up, magma from the hotspot and from the mantle coming up and filling the cracks and then rifting apart again, and you continue to just crack, fill, crack, fill, crack, fill to create new oceanic lithosphere. So let's look at some of the rocks here. So this is a rock which you see lots of angular fragments. This is called a breccia, and when you crack, this is what happens to a rock, is it breaks apart into pieces. And then it opens up space and you can fill it with material like this over here. This is a great example of some of the lava that has poured out from the cracks and formed the surface. If you come over here, you can see some beautiful crystals, olivine crystals, like right here and right here and right here. That's because this rock is from partial melting of the mantle. And when you crack, you actually decrease the pressure, and that causes what we call decompression melting. And you get lava that comes from the decompression melting of the mantle. And if you look here, you can see that most of Iceland is made up of these northeast-southwest ridges running like this. And that's because you have a surface where the lava flowed over it, and then it's cracked because it's being pulled apart. A lot of that lava there is only 10,000 years old, and it's been cracked and broken and faulted since that time, and still is. So lots of earthquakes and lots of volcanoes. Here, let's go look at this other rock over here. Actually, let's look at this panorama here. So right below us there, you see the airport, you can see the university right here. Here's the pyramid-shaped peak right here called Keeler, right? And not far from that, right over in these mountains here, is where you have the active volcano erupting right now. But again, all of these are forming ridges, right? Some of those ridges have really flat tops. It's hard to see that in the distance, but these flat tops are there because there was ice on top of this when the lava erupted. And so it couldn't build a peak like some of these because it was stopped by the ice. And this panorama. You can also see where the ice has gouged out some of the landscape as it flowed over this. And that's mostly been shaped in, again, the last 15,000 years. So here's an interesting rock here. This is what the glacier actually deposits. You can see that these are not as angular as those other ones we saw. This wasn't broken by earthquakes or volcanoes. This is just material that the ice picked up and carried, and when the ice melted, this material dropped out, and then has been cemented by clay. We call this glacial tillite. So pieces from very different types of rock all put into one place, and there wasn't a lot of processing by the stream because they were embedded in the ice, and then the ice would come down like this, and at the front of the ice would move and deposit this material here. So when the first explorers came here to Iceland, the Vikings, they saw all this steam and they called this place, the first settlement, Reykjavik, which means essentially place of smoke and place of steam. And that is a very fitting name for the entire island because it owes its existence to the fact that you have a spreading ridge that is allowing for new oceanic crust to form. And now you can see that it's been inhabited by lots of people who have to live on a daily basis with the hazards posed by creating new land. Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Okay, this goes.
We didn't do the here. Oh, it's still going? Or did you have it on?
Ooh, it's still going.